Money isn't real. Doesn't matter. It only seems like it does.
Through training camp, I pursued.
Those are pretty damn good averages. Hi, Alex Himes here, and it's time to get it right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. This is Get It Right with Alex Himes. It's another beautiful week here in Southern California. This 55-degree weather has me wearing my sweaters and my nice jackets again. And God, you guys know I love my nice jackets. I love looking good. I love that Brooks Brothers preppy style. And man, I can finally wear it rather than overheat and sweating so hard that it's like having a bead of sweat racing down my crack like Luke Skywalker in the Death Star. I have to start off with probably the best piece that we're going to discuss today, and that is why I'm so happy with this NBA season. And I know we've been talking about NBA a lot lately, but that's because there's so many storylines. I swear, the NBA now has turned into the real world from MTV. The stories that we see on social media, all the little pettiness between players on different teams, the pettiness within locker rooms, every storyline, I swear, it's great. This is practically turned into world star hip hop. We have a new story, a new drama, a new arc in the NBA season practically every day. And now we get to close a chapter of an arc that should have never even occurred. And that is Carmelo Anthony is finally shutting the haters up and found a home with the Portland Trail Blazers. If there's any man who's been done wrong by the NBA, it's Carmelo Anthony. In a situation that's kind of similar to what we saw with Colin Kaepernick, not to the severity or to the degree that he experienced, but getting blackballed and screwed out of a job for no clear reason, Carmelo has finally found a home with the Portland Trail Blazers. And my God, he is literally everything they needed. The third scoring option that they've been looking for years. A guy that can go out there and get buckets, score on opposing defenses, draw their defenders, and get more open looks for guys like McCollum, Lillard, getting looks for Rodney Hood, getting looks for Simmons. I mean, literally, Carmelo Anthony has been the answer to the issues we've all said Portland has dealt with for the last couple of years. And you know something? This gets even better. He caps it off. He shuts the haters up. For those people who still believe Carmelo Anthony is washed, that effectively should be shut down by the announcement of this week's Western Conference Player of the Week being the one and the only Carmelo Anthony. Melo averaged a modest 23.3 points per game and 7.7 rebounds per game this week. And of course, they went 3-0. Melo's play has literally been the game changer that Portland has needed. And let's take a step back for a moment and say the most important part. Carmelo Anthony is back out on the court telling guys like Hassan Whiteside to get the hell out of the way so he can get the rebound. And honestly, there's nothing better than watching that man yell and being able to hear it on TV, on ESPN during a live game. Hey, Hassan, get out of here. I got that rebound. There's nothing better than that. Oh, and also those moments when Carmelo Anthony does the 3-shot on the side of his head. That takes me back. We've only had him for 6 games so far, and yet Portland is doing exactly what they need to do. They are winning. They are looking good. They're looking legitimate. Melo is making a difference. It's very clear and very evident. The Portland Trail Blazers have found the guy that they needed and have needed for the last couple of years. And now, from my side on this, I got to just say, the reason why Melo didn't have a job is because the quote-unquote inside sources giving us all the information about him being a bad teammate, a guy who puts himself over winning, a guy who puts scoring each night, being the most potent scorer on the floor over winning and getting team wins. It's all over. Just shut up with that stuff. It's nonsense. I myself had been a victim of listening to the inside sources because when you're listening to the media and there's constant attention telling you that one dude is that much of a quote-unquote cancer to the locker room, you're bound to buy into it to some degree. Well, if this has shown us anything from Melo's 6 games with Portland, sorry, Mr. Kitty is enjoying rubbing himself on my shoes right now. It's okay, little man. I know, Melo's back and you're happy too. I'm happy. The world is happy. The NBA is happy and it's great. Carmelo Anthony finally has a chance to win a championship. The Portland Trail Blazers had made the best midseason signing of the year so far. Last year, you heard me talk about how Kenneth Faried was the best midseason signing in the last 10 years practically, with his impact for the Houston Rockets given Nene going down and them basically having no big. Well, Carmelo Anthony has surpassed that value already in 6 games. I'm here to tell you, Melo's addition to the Blazers makes the Blazers legitimate contenders in the Western Conference. everything that they needed, which was the third scoring option, a guy that can open up the floor for them, space for them, and basically be that vocal veteran leader who can make a true difference and give insights that some of these young guys otherwise wouldn't have. They now have. The discussion is over. And if there's anything I'd like to say to Melo directly, I am so effing happy you are back in the NBA. Like I said before, and I go back to it, there's nothing more fun than watching you hit an isolation three-pointer, do your three-point stance, and then do the arms up like the Tiger Woods move like you did a couple games ago. And there's nothing better than watching you yell at Hassan to get out of the way to get a damn rebound. Carmelo, as an NBA fan, as a Boston Celtics fan, and as a biased and unbiased NBA fan, yes, I said biased for a moment, I am happy, genuinely happy you are back in the NBA, and I am rooting for you to get a ring. If there's anyone that deserves a ring in the NBA at this point, it is you, Carmelo, and I'm so happy you are back in the league. It's great for the NBA in terms of marketing. It's great in the NBA because it makes it more fun. And in this season, of which we finally have the most balanced season probably in the last 10 years, it's good to see that you're helping a team that really genuinely needed your help. A team that really wanted you a couple of years ago before you ended up playing that one forgettable season in Oklahoma. And now here you are. The match made in heaven, the perfect Tinder match. I'm telling you, this was like a super like on the Trailblazers part and a match made in heaven. Melo, you do you, man. Keep on doing your three-point stance. And please, by God, make it a point for every damn game, any damn nationally televised game, to yell at Hassan to get out of the way to get the rebound, because there's nothing more that I live for than watching you try and stuff your rebound stats. And that is the Western Conference Player of the Week, Carmelo Anthony, and why I'm happy he's back in the league. But on the converse, a team that he played with last year, I got to tell you, we have to break this down a little bit. The Houston Rockets, to me, and I think by most fans' standards, given the history and their track record, are officially known as the playoff pretenders. The Houston Rockets are the best regular season highlight reel that will never accumulate or amount to a championship. The Houston Rockets just outright are one of the most fun teams to watch play basketball. Every night, there's at least one highlight reel from Westbrook or Harden, mostly Harden at this point, and another scoring outburst from mostly Harden. It's almost as if we in the NBA community have become desensitized to this man's scoring outbursts. It's been a 5-year stretch at this point of us watching this man drop 40, 50, 60, night in and night out. And this is also the same man that has, in the top 10 most scoring nights this season, he has 8 of those scoring outbursts. This Rockets team seems to be prioritizing the concept of making their all-star guard in Harden the MVP, as opposed to what should be the ultimate goal in this sport, a championship. Don't get me wrong. I understand when you have a player of that magnitude and that value, you put him on a pedestal. But when you're continuously vying to make him the MVP and you watch him go for 36 points per game, 82 games a year, you got to remember there's also at minimum an extra 16 games in the playoffs, of which him and D'Antoni have been known for not showing up to. While James is a great player, let's not get that wrong. James is a great player, and carrying practically an entire team scoring for 82 games, the same ability that hampers their championship aspirations is at full front. To his credit, James is not the issue here. It is clearly the system in which he plays within. Playing within a Mike D'Antoni's run and gun style offense has proven to be a system that falls short almost every damn time this man goes to the postseason. And I emphasize Mike D'Antoni's version, for the reason that there was another coach that took this system and perfected it. And that was Steve Kerr with the Golden State Warriors. Steve Kerr spent time with D'Antoni back in his days with Phoenix. The guy was his GM. And of course, when you're watching and you're picking it up and you have a guy like Nash and Stoudemire and all these other guys who are playing at high levels, you're bound to learn a thing or two. It's not like Kerr wasn't used to the concept of playing with great players and maximizing within a system. Given that he played with Jordan, he played with Popovich, he was able to utilize all of that information, that encyclopedia, that index of basketball knowledge to his advantage and apply it to a system that clearly needed perfection. And yet D'Antoni, to his credit, has stayed pat, but also to his demise and much to his chagrin, he's also been the same damn reason why his teams fume out every year. When you're utilizing one star in particular, such as James Harden, on a squad that really is surrounded by shooters in a run and gun style offense that emphasizes the concept of jacking up shots with every damn opportunity, of course your main star, your headliner, is run down by the end of the year. And that's what the Rockets deliver year in and year out. 82 games, 82 nights specifically of Harden dropping ridiculous scoring stats, ridiculous highlights, and so many damn threes that you can't even count. The Rockets are a team meant to be a regular season pretender. Let's accept this. The Rockets now bring in Russell Westbrook and pair him with his ex-teammate James Harden, who at that point was looked at as basically the reincarnate of Oscar Robertson for our generation. And all these highlight reels just got a little bit more fun. For example, the first play of the damn game against Atlanta when James threw a lob to Russ on a fast break dunk. That is a highlight that everyone wants to see. It's electrifying. It gets the fans in the stands. It makes sure to fill up the Houston stadium night in and night out to where fans can see a guy like James Harden do some ridiculous acrobatic stuff, take 15 step back three-pointers, make 8 of them, drop 60 again in a winning effort, only to come up short in the postseason when it actually effing matters. Now, getting back to the D'Antoni system, when we take a step back and we actually look at NBA champions that won with 2 guards, the emphasis being 2 guards, 2 ball-dominant guards who score, and put teams to shame. When examining the champions since 2000, we took a look at the teams that actually won and notice their most dominant players and the combination of which that would be. Given the Rockets are running a 2-guard dominant system with Westbrook and Harden, it's easy to see why they might actually pull it off. When in reality, the combinations utilized by the champions since 2000s were anything but that. So we ran it down and we had the shooting guard center combination, which was the Lakers and the Heat, early 2000s Lakers. Point guard center, which would be the Spurs. Then you have shooting guards and forwards combination. You have the Mavs, the Heat, the Celtics, and the Lakers from 2008 and 2010. You have the point guard forward combination, which is Golden State, and I mentioned that because it's Curry and Durant. And I'm counting Klay Thompson, and this is a forward just because, and don't at me on that. Then you have the Cavs, the Raptors, and the Pistons for the point guard forward section. Notice something there? None of those combinations mention a team that was run by 2 ball-dominant guards, or at least 2 guards to have won a chip. None of those were led by 2 point guards, or at least a point guard shooting guard combination. And that being said, the guards that the Rockets have that drive their high-powered offense have to face the biggest threats in the Western Conference at the end of the year. And those threats are the Los Angeles Lakers, who are run by a forward-center combination, an ungodly one. And then you have the Los Angeles Clippers, which, I mean, like, if we're going to quantify it, it's 2 forwards, but let's be real. Lou Williams has a major impact, so that's a shooting guard off the bench. And Montrezl Harrell is the forward center that they need off the bench, which basically makes it a big 4. We look at these championships. We look at the winners. We look at the teams that the Rockets are going to face. There hasn't been a team to have won a title with a 2-guard tandem. There has never been a team that relied on 2 ball-dominant guards to win, at least from the 2000s era. And for those of you who want to debate those, go look at the stats. It's black and white. The Rockets are a team built for regular season success and marketing. I swear, they have the most brilliant marketing campaigns that I've seen in the NBA. They get to utilize their highlight reels in-house every damn game for marketing promotions. You know for a fact you're getting 82 games of marketing for the NBA and for your fans to fill the stands. That being said, they fill their stadium and they fall short of the hopes that the fans really want. The D'Antoni system delivers attention-grabbing moments, eye-catching moments, eye-retaining moments, and promptly their franchise face is put in the MVP conversation every damn year, when they don't really focus on what the ultimate goal of the sport is. The way they play seems to have Harden's MVP candidacy over everything. And with D'Antoni at the helm, Houston's title hopes should be held in reality, and that is they are playoff pretenders. I've accepted this. I've accepted that James Harden and Russell Westbrook are this generation's Allen Iversons. some of the greatest talents to have been in this game, this generation, but will ultimately fall short of what literally every NBA player's goal, what the game's damn goal is, to win a title. But that being said, we can now actually accept this. With both now on the same roster, you can say that they're going to be a killer team, finally getting the MVP form, Russ, that we saw in Oklahoma, with the MVP form that should have been in Oklahoma City with James Harden on the same roster. It's ridiculous, I know, but they're not going to be able to even escape the Western Conference. And that being said, let's get it right. Houston is a playoff pretender, and that's okay. Just appreciate the time we have with Russ and Harden on the same court together and watch them play some beautiful style basketball in the regular season, because damn, if we already know, they're going to come up way short of that goal come postseason. At this point on Get It Right, I have to give a nice shout out to a couple people who have been doing great in the community as of late. I need to give another shout out to my good friend Robbie Barber 90210 out here in Los Angeles. Man, we're all about supporting local businesses here at Get It Right, and my buddy Robbie is the barber on the go, literally doing everything all on his own, finally joining Little Joe's Barbershop in Beverly Hills, cutting hair there. But really, when I say he is a one-man band, the guy takes the bus every day to go perform this job and also takes the bus to go meet his clients. I have the utmost respect for entrepreneurs who are willing to do anything to make a buck, and this man not only does anything to make a buck, but he does a damn good job of cutting my hair and of other people's hair, as seen on his page on Instagram. So please, people, if you like to support local businesses out here in Los Angeles, even if you don't get a haircut, show him some love. Barber90210 on Instagram, my good friend Robbie, I gotta say. Great job this week with my cut, man, because honestly, I'm looking fresh, and I looked like a freaking demon with my mustache a couple weeks ago. And another kind shout out also to my good friend Buster from Hoops Nation. I gotta say, if there's anyone who's really dominated the Instagram social scene and really came up with the NBA social scene at large, and to his credit, you know, I don't think most people have actually thought about it, but the NBA social scene has really been on the rise. And in particular, the NBA's own social accounts have been on the rise. And that, in large part, is to be credited to a guy who is posting NBA memes, making it popular on social media. And there is credit, and we have to give credit to where credit is due. Buster Shear from Hoops Nation on Instagram. Guys, if you really do love basketball content and you are a basketball junkie like myself, please go check out his page on IG and check out his latest episode of his new podcast, because he started getting into that scene. And this kid is 18 years old. I'm talking about supporting local businesses. Support a guy who really is following his dream and carving his own path. Just straight up respect to Buster and Hoops Nation and what they've done. And my final shout out of the day again goes out to the Good News radio station. The Good News Radio out here in Los Angeles is one of the most fun podcast networks, non-for-profit networks that we have out here. I love working with this family. I love being a part of it. It allows me to be a part of a community that's greater than my own, that is completely different than my own. In fact, I get to be a part of a community that I would have otherwise never been able to be a part of because of time, distance, location, and everything. So the Good News radio station, where you can find your greatest sports shows, where you can find some of the other latest podcasts out there. If you are looking for shows on sports, if you're looking for shows on just dealing with the ladies, i.e. Ladies Night on the Good News Radio. I love my girls from there, Kirsten and Moni. Shout out to them. Shout out to the Good News Radio and Keith Good News himself, putting in work year in and year out. Oh my God, my cat is grabbing my butt. Mr. Sly, stop touching me right there. And we can give a nice shout out to Mr. Sly. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Sly. He's a big Garfield looking cat, and he is my father's cat and the brother of my cat. So here he is. And now to round out today's episode, we got to talk about, oh boy, Mr. Sly. Come on, little man. Please, not the microphone. Oh, please don't do this to the computer. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sly, stop, please. I'm begging of you. And now for the final portion of today's show, we got to talk about the one and the only New England Patriots, and me as a Pats fan admitting something I never thought I would. The decline of Tom Brady is finally upon us. It's not the cliff that Max Kellerman discussed years ago. It's not that nonsense gibberish, but it is here. It's been a slow decline, and it's been inevitable, and at 42 years old, Tom Brady in this decline really isn't that bad, Pats fans. Remember, we are 10-2, but it's time to have a heartfelt discussion about this. I take no pleasure in discussing the man who delivered 6 rings to New England being a former shell of himself. But here we are. Tom Brady is on the decline. A very slow decline. Like, instead of it being here, it's more like, just slowly happening right before our eyes. But that's okay. And sure, we can point to the fact that the last few weeks have been riddled by injuries, whether it be just ridiculous freak accidents or the fact that the Patriots are suffering from the flu. And yeah, they had to take 2 separate games to last week's game in Houston. So if that says anything, let's make it clear. The Pats are struggling here. And my God, they are coming down to earth. And sure, we can point out that we only had 2 healthy receivers just a couple weeks ago for Brady to throw to. Sure, we can point out that against the Houston Texans, they pretty much locked down the Patriots receivers and gave Brady no looks. Sure, we can point out to the fact that Brady spent more time on the ground than he did throwing the football. His QBR has been at its worst now for 10 straight games. That's worse than his career. He spent more time in the pocket looking for open receivers than I spend at the grocery store. And against legitimate contenders, Brady, like I said before, has spent more time on the ground than he has actually throwing the football. But the Patriots are still 10-2. The Patriots have played mental mind games with NFL fans, with Pats fans, with everyone before. The Patriots went and lost their final game of last season on a stupid play against the Miami Dolphins. Ended up being 11-5. And what did they do? They just played in the best defensive Super Bowl we've ever seen. And mind you, let's go back a little bit. In the last 3 seasons, what has occurred? The greatest Super Bowl comeback ever, okay? Then they played a Philadelphia Eagles team where not even a higher power could cause Tom Brady to win that damn game. A game that he also set a Super Bowl record 505 passing yards. And then, like I said, the greatest defensive Super Bowl ever played. If anything, this should show us something. Something very obvious. It's something the Pats have been known to do since the beginning of the Brady-Belichick era. Adjust on the fly, adjusting to what they have and what's available, potentially switching from throwing to switching to the run game, relying more heavily on the defense that Bill Belichick has put into place and Steve Belichick and his majestic mullet are putting into place. And now we can rely on one thing that we all know at this point. If there's anything we've learned about Tom Brady is that you never doubt Tom Terrific in the clutch moments. Shout out to Rob Parker, who continuously doubts the Patriots year in and year out, and man, you are fueling their fire. Please continue doubting again this year, just so that the Pats get their chance to get to the stairway to 7, because man, nothing would make me happier than listening to my old friend Ali Benz from Transylvania University have to tell me, we got the stairway to 7, not the Steelers. Oh, and shout out to Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph for having the most wild beef of the year. Jesus. Back to my Pats point. Utilizing the run game, utilizing their defenses. I'm being aloof right now for a reason, people, because we continuously doubt Tom Brady and the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick, and yet year in and year out, they simply do what they need to do. Do your job. Do your job is playing in my head right now as I'm talking about this. So I'm sorry for those who have to listen to that. But to the fans who are concerned, who are denying the decline, you are wrong. You are not paying attention. Sure, Brady shored himself up towards the end of the game with the 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 300 plus yards. But it was clear that things weren't working. And to those who still believe that Brady is washed, to the person that said the Patriots should start Jared Stidham over Tom Brady. That's you, Cole. Yeah, I'm giving you a shout out. Shut up. Pay attention. We're 10-2. The Patriots are set to go back to the postseason, and Tom Terrific will recapture his clutch glory when it counts. When it counts. Let that be known.
Money isn't real. Doesn't matter. It only seems like it does.
Through training camp, I have to see.
Those are pretty damn good averages. Hi, Alex Himes here, and it's time to get it right.